Hello, everyone, and hello, welcome to the third episode of INIT Talks. And today we have a special guest joining us, Nina Hahn. Hi, Nina. Hi, how are you doing
Hello.
today? How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing quite fine. Yeah.
It's very nice to have you here today again because, yeah, yesterday Nina was in the Sprint to Speed Dream Team practice session, and now she is the guest star for the INIT Talks episode 3. Yay! Hello, by the way. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Sharon. It's very nice to have you here today. Hi. How you doing, guys? Happy almost weekend. Happy almost weekend. It's almost the weekend, finally. So, Nina, so what are you up to lately?
Yeah, in terms of racing, there has been quite some things. I guess like if we start all the way back by the Winter Cup,
Mm-hmm.
I did win the Screen to Speed Winter Cup, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And really close fight was really, really cool. And
Yeah.
then I had the Women's Day Invitational again with Screen to Speed,
Mm-hmm.
which was also quite successful.
Yeah,
I
it
bet we'll
was.
talk about it later.
We
And then
will.
also like last week, I went to England
Mm-hmm.
to be part in a what's it called? Like a competition
Uh-huh.
from Formula Women.
Right.
And yeah, I managed to get into the finals there as well. So
Oh, nice. We will talk more about the Formula Women Championship later. But first, before we get into this kind of question about the winner mentality as the title of the stream, so could you tell us a bit about your story? How did you get into sim racing and motorsports?
yeah, I think we touched on that yesterday
Mm-hmm.
already. And I guess I'll give the rough rundown again.
Yeah, sure.
When I was thinking about it, I really think my base motivation about like all racing in cars started with the movie Cars
Mm-hmm.
from I don't know what year that released, but like I was reasonably young. But
I
that
was
really
very
made
very
me
small back then when we have the
yeah,
Cars
that really
movie.
made me go, oh, cars are cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I went karting here and there, like
Mm-hmm.
I say here and there, it was like 2 or 3 times, I feel like.
Right.
And I did quite well, especially for my age and not being into racing or something.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents aren't into cars, and no one really in my family is, and so it kind of never really lived up to like a hobby.
Yep.
So I kind of forgot about it until I drove with a neighbor who was driving me to a friend's place,
Mm-hmm.
and his car was just like all like kind of like a small rally car with like a roll cage and a 4-point harness. And he
Okay.
sent it through a roundabout when he was driving me, and that really like reignited this like passion. I was like, oh, cars are still cool. And it's really fun to drive fast. And
It's so fun to
then
drive
I kind of
fast.
started like racing games again. Like when I was younger, I did like a couple of Need for Speed titles, but
Mm-hmm.
didn't really like, it didn't really catch on. And then I was like, I don't know, 16, 17 at that point,
Mm-hmm.
where yeah, I was just really enjoying it again and started with I think Assetto Corsa and Project Cars,
Mm-hmm.
a dirt rally and those kind of games, more like casual. And then after a while, yeah, got onto iRacing with like proper wheels and pedals, and now having like a full rig, and iRacing is my main,
A
yeah,
full
racing
setup.
simulator.
Yeah, a full setup, and soon you will get your sim rig from Sabilt, I think. Also, yeah.
Yes.
So you will
Yeah, can't
have two
wait.
sim rig in your home, and you're like the only one driving it. So good luck and have fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't wait for that. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe there will be some social media stuff attached to this. So
Yes, please.
um
Yes,
we'll,
please.
we'll I don't know how much I can say and how much is like fixed,
Right,
but
right.
it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool. Like it's going to be like very cool, very nice, and especially because you earn it, like you win it. Because I watch your race in the International Women's Day, and I saw it like for a long time. You were like in P6, something like that, like going into the final caution, and then I was like, wait, Nina won. Nina won the race. I was like, she was in six
Yeah,
or something all the time. And how?
yeah, like
Could you tell me a
I
bit
was
about the story behind it?
yeah, of course. I was running like P3 or P4 for like a long part of the race.
Mm-hmm.
And then um I had like a slightly different strategy to the others though.
Right.
So towards the end I was running in sixth and seventh, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was really like on the radio with my team boss who was
Mm.
like, watching over me and like giving me call outs and everything.
Right.
uh, I was telling him, oh, I don't know. I guess the strategy didn't work as we planned, and there's no way we're gonna get a caution in the last two laps or something.
Right.
But then we did get another caution, and like I think some people
Ah.
pitted and everything. I just stayed out,
Mm-hmm.
and also I got a bit lucky, but that's also part of it
Mm-hmm.
with Athena getting a time penalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in a prime position at the end. And then just restarted the race, kept the lead, and yeah, crossed the finish in first.
Yeah, I was like, wow, is that caution flag a miracle for you?
Yeah, I
Because
mean it was kind of like in ovals you always have the risk of like a late caution, but
I
um,
see.
it really like it came out at the perfect moment for me, and I'm really happy that our strategy did work as
Uh-huh.
intended.
Right.
That was like one of the reasons why we went with that strategy. So we would be at a green white checkered, we would be in the prime spot, and that's exactly what happened. And yeah, still huge thanks to Charles for helping me with all of that.
Thank you for helping Nina with the strategy and stuff. Because, yeah, I feel like in oval, sometimes you have to take the risk, like gamble your luck, waiting for the, hoping that there will be like another cautions. And you took that and it gave you a win. Like, congratulations for that. So I was like, Nina is the back to back winner from Winter Cup straight to the International Women's Day. So, will you join the Screen to Speed, another Screen to Speed, if we are having it, like probably in summer?
Like another season cup.
Yeah, another season. Will
Yeah.
you join?
Like if I have the time, definitely I'll have to see how like some real life stuff pans out. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have the time again. I would definitely want to join.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially the Winter Cup was like so much fun because it was over these couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
I was fighting with Bianca in there quite a
Yes,
bit.
I saw that.
Yeah,
It was like the
it was
battle
like
between you and Bianca all the time, like the
yeah,
close
we were
battle.
always like very close, and I was never like leading the championship
Mm-hmm.
until like the very last race when I like won the whole cup.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, we were always very close. We had some great fighting and everything.
Yeah, I
So
saw
to
that.
come out on top was also like really, really cool and was like some tricky math connected to it during the last race. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know exactly where I had to finish, where she had to finish. So I just like gave it my best
Mm-hmm.
and won by one single point at the end of it. So yeah,
Wow,
it was
that
exciting.
that is like a really close championship battle between you and Bianca. Like, yeah, I think as far as I saw, it's always like Bianca always like won the race. Not like always, but I think like she won the race like the in few rounds, right? So
Uh, yeah,
or
like
yeah,
we
something like that.
both of us had like a lot of wins.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't the only ones winning, but I think if I recall correctly,
Mm-hmm.
if I hadn't in the last race, if I hadn't got the fastest lap point,
Mm-hmm.
then it would have been decided on, I think, the most amounts of fourth place finishes because we had equal sets of wins, equal
Right.
second place, equal third places, and I believe I had one more fourth place.
Uh-huh. Oh wow.
So it was like really, really close racing.
Really, really close. Yep. Oh my god. I think if I were you back in the Winter Cup, I also like stress out with the points and stuff because back in the day when I was like winning a championship, it was like a pretty big gap between me and the second place. Even though that I finished last on the on my final race, I still win it because I've already collected the points from the previous round.
Hmm.
But for you, this whole championship is all about battling, battling, close battle, close battle, close point. Wow. Do you
Yeah.
ever like get stressed out about that? Like, like you want to
Um,
win, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was always like looking at the points. I always wanted to go for the win, obviously.
mm-hmm.
But in the second to last round, so we always had like two races per round,
Yeah.
right? Per
Mm-hmm.
weekend. So in the second last uh, round, yeah, in the
The
third
second
to last
last or third.
race, was
Mm-hmm.
it?
Third
I
last
did
race.
end up in like a lap one crash and was really like pretty much at the back of the field. And I really thought, oh, that's it. Bianca's gonna get it now. But with like the way that the points worked and everything, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't impossible, but it was like quite difficult to
Right.
still win it. And then on the last round on these two races, I just like had the perfect weekend. I won both races. I think I'm not sure if I got the fastest lap on the first race, but I did get it on the second lap and on the second race and
On the
everything.
second one. Yep.
So it was exactly what I needed, and yeah, I was giving my all, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was really happy that it worked out that way.
Yep. So the fastest lap points really helps you with that. So even though that you're not always winning, as long you're in the finishing in the podium, but then you score the fastest lap in every round, the point will quite help you to be on top of the standings, I guess. And
Yeah, definitely. Like the points are like the fastest lap points are also part of it, and I didn't get it every race. Like Bianca also had it a couple of times. I
mm-hmm.
think Sarah Dove also had it
Yeah.
one or two times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really cool, and every single point counts, and that's what helped me.
Yep. Oh, anyway, hello, Sophie and Yvonne. Hi, how you doing? And happy almost weekend, chat. Happy almost weekend. So we are having a talk with Nina right now. So Nina and I are talking about the Winter Cup. So the Screen to Speed Winter Cup. Because all this time I see from the clips from the broadcast, but I haven't really heard about the competition itself inside the Winter Cup, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But then I think in the Winter Cup, the first round, you start based from where you qualified in the race. But on the second one, it's like a reverse grid kind of thing, right? I think.
Yes, it was always like we had like a qualifying, and then we had the reverse grid for the second race,
Yep, the
which
reverse one.
did make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Although it was like sometimes a bit stressful to weave through the like slower cars,
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
especially when you're still fighting. Because usually
Mm-hmm.
Bianca and me we were like quite far up front in the race finish,
Mm-hmm.
and then for the next race, we would be like together again, but at the back. So we kind
Right.
of like were fighting each other, but also trying to get like to lose like as little time as possible to,
Right.
overtake other people on track.
Mm-hmm.
And on some tracks that was easier. On some tracks like Laguna Seca, I remember that was really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it gave a new challenge to it. I don't know if I prefer it to like a some other version.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because it was a bit tricky and sometimes I don't know. I also didn't want to like ruin anyone else's race, obviously, because
Of course.
they're also racing, and if I come through just because I'm faster,
Right.
I didn't want to like hit anyone. I didn't want to spin anyone out, obviously, because
Mm-hmm.
they're in their own race and I don't want to ruin anything for them. So it was tricky sometimes.
Right. So running like the reverse grid, the gameplay and the strategy is like totally different than starting in front. Like yeah, in a reverse grid you want to make overtake as fast as you can, but you want to make it safe. And then you have to how do you say, like you have to face other drivers with different pace than you. So like you have to predict also, right? Like how is this driver gonna do if I do this, if I do that. So I assume that the reverse grid can be hard, like can be like really hard because if you start in front, like for example, like you'll be battling with Bianca all the time, and then like you'll be pulling off the gap with the cars behind you at some point. Like you're running fast, both of you, you're battling, you go in front, but in the reverse grid, you'll be like, okay, I'll start like from the very very back, and then like you have to deal with the T1 carnage most of the time. Because the first lap can be like crazy for some people. Like, yeah, that's how I see.
Um, yes, but we had, I think, a total of 8 races, and there was only like one race out of them that had like a
Really
sort
big.
of like a bigger incident in the first lap.
I
So
think
I
that
think
was
the driving
the
standards were
summit
pretty.
point.
So of course we had like a bit of like a pace difference here and there, but I think the racing standards themselves were quite good.
Which is,
And
yeah,
that
which
also
is good.
helped because I do have like some experience in like the multi-class races or something.
Right.
So I kind of like was thinking about, okay, if I have a car that is like significantly slower than me, then I kind of would just like approach it like a multi-class. And
Right.
if I'm
Right.
if I'm just like a little bit faster or something, then I would just like try to battling for position as normal. And it makes for different overtakes kind of.
Yeah, the way you like trying to overtake someone, it can be different because especially in Winter Cup, like we have so many drivers coming from different background, different experience, so it makes the competition is like more complex sometimes because you have to deal with a very experience. And I'm not saying like the other one is not good or not having experience, but it can be different because of things, like this and that. And also like maybe there are some people who get used to different sim and something like that. So for me, I don't know, for me sometimes starting from the back and try to get the win in front can be like really really hard than starting in front and running away from from the pack behind you. It made so
Um,
for some great
yeah.
racing. Yeah, it is, Sophie. I want to join the Winter Cup too. I wish I joined.
Yeah, so like obviously if you're already in front, then you kind of have like a different type of race where you don't have to if you have the pace, let's say, then you can
Right.
just like focus on like running away and just not get overtaken by second place. But like when you start from the back, then you kind of have to, yeah, you're gonna lose some time in the start just because you have cars in front and you need to overtake if you are faster.
Right.
So yeah, it makes for different types of races, I'd say.
Yeah, the different types. But which one do you prefer more? Starting in front or starting from the back? Like last to first challenge.
It depends on the level of competition, I would say. If there are drivers that are like really, really like good and like above my level or something, I would technically want to start like a bit further ahead because I think my racecraft in terms of defending and keeping a position is quite good.
Right.
But like for like the pure fun of it, obviously if I am one of the faster cars in the field, it's obviously fun to have this challenge of overtaking people and
Right.
yeah, just trying to like um trying different things to like really overtake, see what works, what doesn't, where you have to like go for a move and then realize, okay, it doesn't quite work, and then you
Right.
kind of have to use a bit more tactics, which is a lot of fun, but yeah, it's just gonna slow you down. So obviously,
Yeah.
the further you start ahead, the better.
The better, right? Because when you're battling someone, both of you like technically losing time because you're battling. So there's like something that you have to, what do you say? Like you have to compromise, I must say. Like when you're battling someone, at least for me, I don't want to keep the battle for a long time because I'll be losing time, and I feel like at some point someone behind me will eventually catch up if I keep on battling, like trying to make overtake but not sure about it. So like I'm losing time, and the gap to the car behind me is getting closer. So I was like, okay, it's enough playing. Let's go. I'll be like that.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, again.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just really far ahead and I don't know, for example, with Bianca in the Winter Cup,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we found ourselves in a race where we were either like us two or maybe like a third or fourth car in the mix as well,
Mm-hmm.
but we were kind of like running away from like the rest of the pack. And then you can start like battling a little and really like, especially towards the end of the race, really start to try to be in the optimum position for the finish. But
Right.
um, if you either have like still like a leader in front that has built up a gap to like second place and you're in third, then it would make sense to not battle too much,
Mm-hmm.
um, because then you both can just like catch up to the car in front, and then you can make it like a three-way battle instead of making the
Ah.
two-way battle. And as soon as you're eventually manage to get ahead,
Mm-hmm.
then P1 is just like so far ahead that you're never gonna catch up.
Ah,
Same
I
goes
see.
to like if you're two cars fighting in the front
Mm-hmm.
and position 3 and 4, for example, are with a bit of a gap behind,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to start the fight too early so they don't like start mixing in until the finish. You kind of want
Right.
to have like enough of a gap to when you start fighting and you both lose a bit of time that
Mm-hmm.
you kind of can both keep their position and
Hmm.
yeah, not lose more than you could gain.
Right, right, right. So even battling someone, you have to have a strategy. You must have a strategy, and like you have to think like, if I battling this guy or whoever, if we battle, and then like you will see like, okay, we made it, like, okay, we made the overtake, but then the gap to the car in front of you is already like 17, 20 seconds, and I don't know. For me, if I see the gap above 10 seconds, it's quite impossible, especially if the race is about to end. Like, nah, not gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean again, it kind of depends on how long your race is. If it's a
Right.
20-minute race, then that kind of gap is quite hard to close without the other person making a mistake.
Yep,
But if
true.
you're doing endurance races or something, and there's still an hour to go out of 24 hours or something, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that gap might seem quite big, especially if it's been like the same over for the last 3 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of stuff can happen within 1 hour. So
Ah,
just never give up. I mean, obviously don't go for stupid moves if you think
right.
that like you don't really can catch up. So sometimes it's also good to just keep in your position.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never give up and just say like, oh, I'm never gonna catch it because you never know.
Right.
Sometimes stuff happens and then maybe every second counts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, true. Because sometimes, like, we are too afraid to make a mistake, but we forgot that someone else can make a mistakes too. Like, you're not the only
yeah,
one on the track, and yeah, anything
yeah.
can happen.
And especially if you do have this like 10 or 15-second gap after a long race, or like towards the end of a long race, that
Mm-hmm.
can also make the other person in front a bit nervous, if they see like, hey, okay, I really hope my tires are still holding up, and that person behind me has been like 10 seconds, the gap has been
Right.
10 seconds for the whole race.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that can cause like thoughts of like, oh, I hope I don't mess up because if I spin, I'm gonna lose a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then they spin because they're thinking too much about the spinning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
you really have to be strong in your mental game as well and not let these thoughts get to you when you're in that position, but also maybe try and induce those kind of thoughts in your opponents to gain an advantage.
Then how do you train your mental for that? I'm down to the question like that. Like, how do you like train your mental? Like, yeah, this is a race. I want to win no matter what happen. I won't give up. But sometimes, like, not gonna lie, sometimes we as a human will be like, you know what? Ah, God, I'm tired of this. Oh my God, this guy catch me. He's catching me. So how do you like train your mental, like, to be to stay positive in the race, like to stay like keep your heads up no matter what happened. We do it. We finish the race.
Um, it's sometimes it can be difficult, that's true. but I I've seen it like with a friend sometimes who would like every time that he made a mistake or he spun out or something, he would just like quit the race and
Right.
like, oh, I'm not gonna win it. I'm not going to win it anyway now.
Mm-hmm.
But he like lost so much eye rating doing that because like instead of finishing like fifth or something, he just like
DNF.
quit
Yeah.
and like finished last because he didn't like recover from his spins.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
And um, I noticed that when I started on iRacing,
Mm-hmm.
I also had like one or two races where I was like, huh, I don't know,
Ah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's still worth it. But I
Mm-hmm.
just like continued the race and saw that others make mistakes as well. And in a race with, I don't know, 20 people where I was running P17 and I thought like, oh, this race is over.
Mm-hmm.
Within
Right.
a couple of minutes, I managed sometimes to get back to like into top 10 or top 5 even.
Mm-hmm. So
Oh, it's really like a mentality that pays off. And I would say like really like actively try it. Even if you think it's not going to work and you're not going to improve, finish the race and see where you end up. You might be surprised at like how good you will be doing at the end of it.
that's that's beautiful, right? Because sometimes like yeah, people will be like giving up. Like I seen like I did some official session in iRacing, and yeah, of course we know the chat, the voice chat, and everything. And I did mostly oval in iRacing, and like after that big crash, you will see like some people will get disconnected right away. Like like they
Yeah.
crash, they back to the pit, and they quit the game, go to the other one. But yeah, I think for me, no matter where you finish, you have to finish the race. That's the mentality that I got in my head. Like, maybe I don't have the winner mentality yet, as in like, those kind of mentality. But for me, as a start, you have to finish all the race. Like, no matter where you finish, you try to finish. That's the first
Yeah.
step for me.
Yeah, and also just like I think what goes with that is to just stay out of trouble. You don't have to be the fastest, especially when you're starting out. Like I always think like starting out on especially on iRacing on like a sim where at the end of the day it doesn't count. It's a piece of software. There is no like real racing, yeah, but like no real cars attached to it. So um really just like finish it and be like consistent in the terms of like don't spin and just keep it on track. You don't have to like immediately be setting pole laps. It's like going
Right.
to the gym where like when it's your first day in the gym, no one expects you to lift the heaviest weight.
True.
So on iRacing as well, like if you're just starting out or also if you've been on there for a longer time but only now start taking it more seriously, no one's expecting you to be like an esports pro. All of the people who are really, really good at the game spend thousands of hours in it.
True.
So that's something that people often forget, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
because if you it's easy to like look at the top times and being
I
them
wanna
going
I
like
wanna be there. Like I
faster,
wanna be
but
on the
they're
top. Like.
yeah, but like looking at the fastest times and then you're just like, oh, I can't do this and like they're just born better or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of it is down to just practice and just like sitting down, also like analyzing your telemetry or like your lines and like just like looking at what you're doing after
Right.
you've done it. And yeah, just like analyze where you could improve and what the difference is to the people who are doing faster lap times than you.
Right, right. Like always analyze. Like always analyze your performance in the race, and I think most of the time, like at least for me, based on my experience, like people like saying like yeah, you need to use more of the track, and then I feel like when I was in the cockpit view, I feel like oh, I used the track, I used all of it, I touched the curb, I went off the grass. That's how I feel. But then I look into the replay from the not the cockpit, the chopper view, so you can see like how you go in the track. I was like, yeah, no, I haven't used all the track yet. I haven't used it. So how do
Yeah.
you practice? Like, how do you like practicing for driving at certain track with a certain car?
Um,
Like, how do you
it
watch
it
the replay
yeah.
or like?
It depends on the type of racing I'm gonna be doing, kind of. If it's like an endurance race or like a sprint race.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk
But
about the sprint race. I
in
think.
general, it does make sense to really like do a couple of laps just to get like a baseline in. It doesn't matter what lap time it is. It really doesn't.
Hmm. Okay.
And to then just like, you know, do it like consistently. See that you can do like the same lap time, I don't know, let's say for the starters, within 1 second, and always doing like the same lap time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you you go back to your replay and you look at your car from the chase
Mm-hmm.
and you say on every corner, I'm like, I don't know, still half a meter away from the edge of the track. And then you can like really like sit in there again and just like also like drive down like a straight, slow,
Mm-hmm.
and just go to the more and more to the right hand side and just hear
Mm-hmm.
when your tires touch the grass. And then like notice, okay, how wide is my car? How much space do I have to the edge of the track? To then be using all of it for the next time you're trying to improve.
Right. Driving slow, bring your car more to the edge. So you can actually see or feel, okay, this is the edge of this corner. Like, okay,
Yeah,
there's
like
this one.
in real life racing, you obviously have these like time constraints of like it costs money to get the car on track. The track has only limited hours where you can just be on track.
Right.
You also just like you can't like really like go out there and stop with the car and like go really, really slowly and try out stuff. But in sim, especially during like test drive sessions where you're alone on track, you can do whatever you want. And you should absolutely use that and try to improve that way because you're not going to be in the way of anyone. It's not going to cost you anything. It's available 24/7.
Right.
And yeah,
Right. So always practicing the limit of the track of the car. Like no matter where you like which track you're in. So that is like pretty much your method of practicing.
yeah, and also just like look at my lines, uh look at the delta obviously at a certain
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
But also with the delta,
Mm-hmm.
it's important in my opinion to sometimes turn the delta off and just do the same thing over and over and over again without the delta.
Hmm.
And it might not be your fastest lap time,
Mm-hmm.
but I oftentimes notice that if I turn it off, I improve because I stop looking at the delta and I start looking at the track and my braking points, my turn-in points,
Right,
and
right.
I'm focusing more on the driving and I stop chasing the delta because at the end of the day, the delta up there, if it's green or red, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
the way you drive around the track and how settled you are and how focused you are on it. So you can do it like, yeah, one lap after the other
Mm-hmm. Right.
and just get the consistency up. And with consistency, you then can build speed because if you're, I don't know, losing half a second in this one corner every lap,
Mm-hmm.
but you're doing the same thing every lap, then you can like look at it and be like, hey, I could break 50 meters later, and
Right.
suddenly you gain a lot of time. And because you
Right.
practice the consistency, you then can do it like every lap after that. So consistency is key.
Consistency is key. Everybody said that. Yvonne also said that. Like sometimes I told to Yvonne like I'm sorry. Like I'm nervous, not like nervous, but you know what? I don't know how am I gonna do in the race. I think I remember I told Yvonne about that like back in the day, and she just told me like you know what? Keep your car on the track, be consistent, and you'll be fine. Cause yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
like you see that fast driver like scoring a fast lap, but then he or she crash, got damage, and the race is pretty much done, right? So
yeah,
keep the car on the track and be consistent.
yeah. I would say especially in like the quote unquote lower I ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely anything under 2K, and I would even say like between 2 and 3K.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like that is the by far most important thing, to just keep it on track and don't crash. And just by doing that, just by not crashing, you should see like an immediate improvement in your rating and also in your driving per se, because you start being more comfortable in the car, you trust it more because you don't spin out.
Right.
And once you're decent at keeping the car on the track, speed will come automatically, and anything after that is, to me, it was a reasonably automatic progress to then just go and like, okay, I'm consistent, I'm okay fast, but now I want to go faster and be consistent.
Then you will find a way like to be faster once you pass the consistency lesson. Like, okay, first I got to be consistent, keep the car on the track, and then for you it's like the speed comes automatically, like after, I mean, after a while, of course, not like it
Yeah,
doesn't come instant like in one night,
no,
but eventually
I
you will
spent a
find the
lot of
speed.
time in sim.
You spend a lot of time in sim, like how long you spending, you're spending your time, like let's say weekly, like do you do it
Um,
every day or?
it fluctuates. Currently, I don't drive every day. I kind of want to do it every day again.
Mhm.
Um, so I couldn't say. It really depends a lot on my real life stuff, what's going on and everything.
Right.
So it's different each week, which is I really want to do it more consistently and really like get like a plan on how much, yeah, racing I do per week, to just have like a really consistent way of practicing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I'm working on that to find like a plan that works.
Like finding the right time to start the regular stream. Not the, I mean, not the regular stream, the regular drive. Like driving,
Yeah.
trying
I mean, who
to.
knows? Maybe I'll be streaming in the future.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should start
Maybe.
streaming. Or
Maybe I'll
maybe
try
like,
it.
you know what? Because I think for me, like you are like one of the best iRacer that I met here in this community. Like, honestly, like I'm being completely honest with you. Like, I adore you. Like, okay,
Oh,
Nina is
thank
great.
you.
So I mean, if you're streaming, I will tune into your stream and learning your way, because I think for me most of the time I'm learning about sim racing by watching other people driving on the stream. Like,
Hmm.
okay, that's how you do it. Okay, I will try that one. You know, so maybe yeah, I will support you if you're streaming one day.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe.
hello everyone. Lieber Lars. Hey, Lars, hey, hello. Welcome to INIT Esports. Welcome to INIT Talks. We are having Nina Hahn, the back-to-back winner of Screen to Speed Winter Cup and International Women's Day, joining us in the chat. Hi everyone. Hi, hi. All right, where were we? I was saying hi to the chat. Yeah, speaking of the routine and practice, I realized that a lot of pro driver like spend the whole time in the sim practicing. So I look into myself like I'm not doing enough practice yet. I haven't spent enough time in the practice, so no wonder I haven't got into that level yet, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it depends where you want to end up, I guess. Because for like bigger races, for example, like league races or that kind of stuff, if it's like big races, then I would spend like, I don't know, I would say like on average like 10 to 15 hours
Per day.
practicing for one race.
Oh
So
wow.
uh, like that's like just in practice. It depends.
Practice.
Like
Wow.
for the Winter Cup, I wasn't quite able to do that much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it always depends on like how much is going on. I really try to maximize the amount of practice I get in,
Mm-hmm.
because not only for like the result in that race, but also just to improve as like a driver overall.
Right.
So
The track
yeah,
experience and
because also
everything.
for like real life racing, I really try to get like as much practice as I can, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're doing some IRL racing too. We will talk about it.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
I'm trying, yeah.
Do you like do you just started to get into real racing or you've been doing this for a while? Like your main priority is in real racing and you're doing sim racing in the meantime, or how does it work?
No, it's mainly sim racing, but I
Mm-hmm.
have raced in real life. So I
Ah,
was
nice.
like the first time I would really like call myself a racing driver
Mm-hmm.
was in the Formula Student. I was fast enough to be selected as one of two main drivers for the 2019 season in my team.
Wow.
So during that season, I was racing our self-built Formula car
Mm-hmm.
against other universities throughout Europe, which
Uh-huh.
was great fun. It
That is
was
really
amazing,
cool.
and I still think like that is probably the most insane car I'll ever drive in my life. It was like 85 horsepower on 180 kilos. So that thing
What?
was really, really quick with like
Yep.
huge aero package on it. You can actually, I don't know if you can see like the calendars back there. Um,
No, I don't really see it.
yeah, okay. But those are the type of cars that
Oh
we were
wait,
racing, like
the one behind you, like.
like not the big one up there. That's
Oh,
like an old F1 car.
yeah, of course.
Um,
I was like, wait, is that the one on
wait,
the picture?
actually, I can.
Oh, thank you
Uh,
so much. There we go.
okay,
We
so
are making the guest star doing some work, guys.
so that was I'll try to like put it in the center.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Um, that was one of the cars. That's actually me in the car on that picture.
Oh wow, that is really
So
cool.
that
That's
is
the
the type of
car.
cars that I was racing,
That is so
and I drove
fun.
a couple different ones during some testing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that car on there, that wasn't like me driving against other universities there.
Driving against other university, right, right.
Yeah,
That is so
and
fun.
after that, I was also fortunate enough to have a opportunity to be in a fully electric Formula 4 at a driver selection in Zolder
Oh wow.
in 2022, end of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great fun. That was amazing.
I
That
saw
was
that.
all thanks due to Racing Pride, who
Cute.
yeah, where I sent like a um, little like text there because they had like a sponsorship available.
Mm-hmm.
So I was one of six who got to go there and be on the test day,
Oh
and
my
that
god.
was really, really fun. It was great. Yeah,
Wow.
overall a really great day.
Wow.
And
That
yeah,
is
and
really
then last
cool.
week, yeah, and then last week I also went to, or like maybe let's do it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Start of this year, I finally gotten like my real racing license, so I'm now allowed to race like race cars.
Great. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh my god.
Woo!
Congratulations.
And then last week actually,
Mm-hmm.
I was in England and doing a competition with Formula Woman, where I managed to get like all the way to the finals. I didn't quite win it, but I got a little, I say a little, I got a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful glass trophy here, um,
Oh my god.
to for
Yeah.
like being in the finals. And
Congratulations. You
yeah,
make it to the final round, right? Like the final top
yeah,
15. Was it like top
yeah.
15 or top 20?
It was top 15,
Top
yes.
15. I see.
So we were, I think, was it 70 or 80 girls there?
Mm-hmm. And you managed to be in
Like
the
on
top
on on
15.
venue, I think. And then out of that, I managed to get into like the semifinals, which was like top 30, and then another step into the top 15.
Mm-hmm. And you made it
And
to the
yeah, I learned
final.
a lot, and I got to drive a couple of laps at Cadwell Park.
Mm-hmm. Carroll Park.
Yeah,
What?
great racetrack. It's so fun.
Oh yeah?
So
One of the
yeah,
best.
like if you get the chance, like definitely go. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
I see. I will look into the track map and see like how is the Catwall Park
Yeah,
looking.
like it's the track map, yeah, but like
Mm-hmm.
look at the elevation, look at like onboards, or look at the
Oh yeah?
motorcycles that race there. They even like sometimes jump over that one hill.
What?
Absolutely crazy. It's so cool.
I love it. Honestly in a racetrack, I like the racetrack that has like an elevation change. Cause I'm learning about
Yeah.
the thrust and compression from that thing. Like okay, you cannot. I think you cannot brake like right at the top of the hill because wait, I might be wrong on that, but I watch like
Um, I mean you can, you just can't brake as hard
hard.
because
Yeah.
the car is going to lift out of its suspension, so you have less
Mm-hmm.
force downwards.
Down, right. Nobody like
So
push your car to the ground kind of thing. I don't know if that
yeah,
makes
and
sense to you.
the more force you have like downwards, the more grip the tires have, kind of.
Ah, right,
That's why aerodynamics work, because they push the car in the ground and
to
then
the
you have
ground.
more grip.
Right, the aerodynamic to push the car to the ground. Right,
Yeah.
right, right. But then you told us earlier that you actually mainly doing sim racing and that you're doing some IRL stuff. So I assume that you're not having like so many experience at the track because comparing to the sim racing, I assume that you do more sim racing than real racing. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's like at this point in time, that is most people who do racing. Because
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned earlier, racing on the track is always dependent on how long the track is open, what are like the hours where you can go on track. It costs like money to, every
To
lap
run.
costs money in fuel and tires and everything.
True.
And every lap that you can already do on the sim is going to help you doing better in real life. So everyone um, who's driving like a real race car probably does like way more time in sim as well, just
Right.
to like learn the track, learn all the bumps, learn how to approach different corners and everything. And
Right,
if you
right.
already know all of this and you then sit in the car for real, then it's way easier to really know how to like handle the car around this track, because also sometimes with cars that are a bit more nervous on throttle, for example, and you know that on the exit of this one corner you have like a dip or a little bump, then you know how to put down your right foot in terms of so you don't
When you
spin, but you
apply.
can get like the maximum acceleration out of it and not be surprised by the bump being there.
Right, right. Because I was just about to ask you this question. Because you spend more time in sim and you're now that you're doing some IRL race, IRL driving, then how do you feel like sitting in the racetrack, race car, going to race in real racetrack? And I don't know, like, because for me, I did some karting. So I did some karting sometimes, like try to get used to it, learning about it. Because for me in the sim, I was more brave in the sim because I know it's not real. Like if you crash, you won't feel anything. But then once I get into karting, I feel like okay, this is fun. There is like some sense that I can gain in real life than when I was in the sim. But I was shocked when I was like having this doing this karting. I was shocked because okay, the engine sound is so loud on my right ears. Because then back then I remember in iRacing I turned down the engine volume so I can hear the tires better. But in real life you cannot custom that sound, so I was like, oh no. And everything just like blurry in my head, like oh my god, I feel like a noob back then. I know I did some racing sim racing in the sim, but this is everything is new to me. So how did you like even manage to be in the top 15 in a real car? Like tell us a bit about it. Like
Um, yeah, like obviously sim racing I think is reasonably close to real life at this stage, but it does have its limitations. So one thing that we also talked about yesterday, for example, with Beitsgewisser in our test session, is that especially at high speeds, you're going to start to get the fear factor. Because in a rig, if I don't know, someone who knows the track tells you, okay, turn 3 is just flat out, then you're just gonna in the sim, you're just gonna do it flat out, and it
right,
doesn't matter. And if you spin out or something, then
you just
it doesn't
reset,
really
like
matter.
yeah.
But if you are racing a real race car and you're suddenly going, I don't know, 200 kilometers an hour or something, experience, they are quite different to what you expect, like what you have in normal cars.
Right.
Especially when I was doing the Formula Student, because in there, with all the aerodynamics and the car not being very heavy, we had up to like certainly above 2.5 G, and I think the highest I saw on one of my onboards was like 3.0 Gs
Oh wow.
laterally. So that is quite a force that acts on your body, and especially also on your legs. Like for me, it was always the legs that were the most like flopping from left to right, to be honest.
Yep, yep, yep. Because I think
Um,
you're right. In real life, we have that fear factor. Of course, like before I get into, I mean, I'm not even driving a fast car. I'm just driving like, what do you say? Driving in the cart, like doing some karting for fun, at the racetrack. I already have that fear factor. Like by, I told you, like listen to the sound. Like okay, it's louder than when I was playing games. It already give me like that kind of sensation, like like, you know.
Yeah. And
So
like I feel like the sound is something you get over quite easily because it's loud in the first moment. Usually race cars are quite loud, but you after being in there for like I don't know a couple of minutes, then your hearing just adjusts to it, and it's loud, but like it's just there at some point.
right,
But the G-forces are
keep
like
there,
coming and going all the
coming and
time.
going. Right.
So and also the faster you go, the higher the forces get. And what you said about like the tire volumes that you would turn down the engine noise or something,
Right.
I do the same in sim just to hear what the tires are doing. But in real life, you feel it because like um, in terms of like aviation terms, you have like the pitch, the roll, and
Right.
then also the yaw, which is kind of like
Yeah.
how much you're like drifting, quote unquote.
Like
It's not
sliding,
drifting, but like it's how the car rotates around its own
car rotation.
axis. And you feel that. And after doing a bit of racing, and if you, or like also just if you have like good natural feel for this, you can feel like how much the tire is supporting underneath you and where you should like, where you can push a bit more and where you should really like don't push more or even like push less.
Right. Right. I think that's what I cannot say that which one is better, but in sim and real life, it has its own difference. As in, like in the sim, you can adjust the volume. Like I wanna listen more to the sound of tires, so I can actually feel the limit of my tires. But again, I was like, in real life, we have that. Like we cannot adjust the volume of the sound that we hear on the track, but on the other hand, I feel like I don't really need to listen to the tires because I get the feeling that I didn't get in the sim. Like for example, based on my experience, I can feel when I'm going like a little bit too fast going into the corner. Like I feel it directly. Meanwhile, in the sim, I really need to rely on my eyes to see like if I'm going fast or if I'm going too slow. So yeah, like do you like not like agree with me on that, but is it like technically true speaking about the difference between road racing, between real life racing and in the sim? Like you can feel the G-force in real life, like you can feel that. Well, in the sim, you can have like a motion sim, so like you can feel it like, like when your car accelerating or braking.
Yeah, like I've driven a motion sim once for around like 10, 15 minutes, and it does help a little, but it's different. So you do kind of get the same hints at it, but you don't really, it's not the same sensation because even though you get maybe like a little bit of yaw and like a little bit of like pitch or something, it's different if your car just like climbs like 30 meters up the track because it's going up a hill because you
Right.
can't really like get these forces without actually doing the motion in space.
Right, right, right. That
So
makes sense. Right.
yeah, so it's close and it's nice to really like feel a bit more, but it's not exactly the same.
Not exactly the
And
same. I see.
yeah, and also like one thing that you will feel if you really like race a car fast is like um the inside of your body gets like squished a little in all the different directions, which is something you never have in sim. And that can be a bit like that's the thing that makes people sick sometimes on racetracks if they go for a ride along or something,
Right,
right?
right, right. I heard about that. Sometimes it
Yeah,
happens
so
to some
and I
people.
there's no shame in that because like I also think like driving in a passenger seat is always like way scarier than actually driving yourself. But like, yeah, the forces are just quite different. It can help to have like a motion rig or something, but
They're still like feeling that
yeah,
you,
it's a bit different.
it's a bit different, true. But then, like, tell me a bit about you managed to make it to the top 15 in your Formula Woman event like last week. So,
Yeah.
how did you manage to be like fast and make it to the top 15? Like, do you just floor it, send it, and go?
I mean,
Like going fast? Like,
um, I
how?
mean, it wasn't just the driving. We had other challenges attached to it. So we had for the first to get into the semifinals, we also had like, for example, a written test about like some theory of like, okay, what do you do with a yellow flag? What is the optimal line? Like, what is an apex? That kind of thing.
Ah, I
Which is
see.
which was reasonably easy for me because I only took um my race test like last year, so that was still very fresh and everything.
Right, right.
But then we also had like media training where we had an interview, and yeah,
Nice.
we just had to like get through that interview, okay? And I'm generally not scared of interviews or cameras, so that was fine.
That was fun for you. Like, okay, I can do this. I can get into the
Yeah, definitely.
interviews.
Like I just like try to really like put out this confidence and just be there and like be this cool personality because I also just like love talking about it. It's just like the passion that just lives
Like
up in me, I
sharing your
think.
passion. Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah,
then
I understand that feeling. Like telling
and
someone
then
about
what
something.
else? We had a fitness test.
Oh.
That was quite exhausting. It's I don't do like fitness that regularly.
Right.
I do work or like I did work as a car mechanic, so I have like some body strength and something, but I didn't do like too much fitness itself, what you
Like the
would call
fitness
fitness.
program. Yeah.
So that was like reasonably hard for me, but also I set myself the goal to just not give up, whatever stuff we have to do. And it was also hard for a lot of the others. But like whatever exercises we have to do, I will not give up and I will pull through with it until the end. And I did, and I'm really proud of myself. And that is one of the biggest things that I was proud of because it really wasn't an easy fitness test.
It wasn't
And
easy, I
then
bet.
being in the top 30, we had to do another fitness test,
So
right?
there's
Like the
like
next
two
morning
fitness
after
tests.
already having like sore muscles. So that was quite exhausting, but it was also
Right.
fun. Um, yeah, what else did we have? Um,
It's more than
we
just
had some driving
driving.
on like just the line, so not every driving we did was about like pure speed, but also just like finding the line. And we had an instructor with us who was telling us like, okay, this is your braking point, this is your turning point, and all of that. And then you had to like replicate that and just like do it and have like smooth steering, smooth pedals, and everything. And once you did that, then you like moved up to like the bigger car and were actually driving like a fast car.
Right.
And yeah, and yeah, I think I got everything. I don't know if we also had like a reactions test
Oh, wait,
that
is
you
it like
probably have
for
seen on like F1 or something where you have like two little like just balls that a
right?
trainer would like
You have to catch
let
it.
go of and you have to catch it or like catch both at the same time before they hit the ground.
You have that
Yeah, so
reaction
like we had
test
a
also.
couple of different exercises that we had to pass in order to get to the finals. And then
And you pass.
yeah, the finals were in quite tricky conditions as like, common British weather was
Yeah.
striking again. It
It
was
was tricky.
constantly like it was drizzling and then stopped and then was raining heavier and everything. So when I went out on track, it was really like slippery and just like greasy. The track
Yep.
was really like you were constantly dancing with the car a little. And I'm still happy with my results, even though I didn't win it, because I just learned a lot that day. I talked to an amazing race driver, and like he was an instructor at like a Ferrari
Driving academy?
facility. I don't know if
Facility?
I'm not 100% sure. But like his name is Ray Grimes, and he also looked at some onboards with me, and we talked about it and how I can improve and everything. So that
Right.
was really informative. I learned a lot, and overall, just an amazing event.
It is, I bet. Because I just know that it's more than driving on the track because you have to go through even the interview. Like, you have that media training also from that program, which is really great because, wow, you learn a lot and there's like so many things to learn, I guess, in few days. I think how long was that,
Yeah.
the program? Like throughout the weekend or was it like,
Yeah, so it was 3 days in total.
mm-hmm,
One day at like a near the National Motorsports Academy, I think
mm-hmm,
it's called.
uh-huh,
And then like around Nottingham or in Nottingham.
mm-hmm,
And then the last 2 days were at Cadwell Park.
mm-hmm.
So that's a bit more to the east, if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of drive, like all the way. Like,
Yeah, it was like I think 1.5 hours. It
oh,
wasn't too bad.
it wasn't
So
bad. Yeah, it's fine. One
yeah,
and a
it
half.
was fine.
That's a
And
lot.
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, you're going through this program and you managed to be in the top 15. So, we had this conversation before. Like, I see you as a pro driver, but you say like I'm good, but it's not that good. But okay, I'm decent. Okay, let's say that if you are decent in sim racing, where do you put yourself in real racing? Which level are you on?
Um,
If you're talking about real life driving, let's say.
yeah, it's a bit hard to say because I don't have much in terms of experience in really like comparing myself to others in the same type of machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Formula Student, for example, where I have like arguably the most experience on
Mm-hmm.
track, um, every university had their own car. And so
Ah,
it was like similar to like in F1, you can be like the best driver, but if your car is just not quite up to it, then your results are not going to be as good.
right.
So it's hard to really like
Measure.
compare how much is like the driving, how much is the car, and all the
Unless you
other
are
events. I
competing.
also don't have like a really good basis of comparing my times to the others.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously getting to all these like to yeah also like when people who race for real and look at my onboards and give me tips or something,
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm not too bad, you know. I think I'm decent
Mm-hmm.
again, but
Right.
especially in real life I know that I still have like quite some things to learn,
Right.
but that's also good, that's cool, because that means there's new stuff,
New stuff.
and
Exactly.
yeah, and like the excitement that comes with it,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much still out there to be learned.
Yep.
And I think it's absolutely like valid to say that you don't know everything yet. And you don't have to be like the best driver already. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know if you mentioned this yet, I don't think so. But like for my big goal to be racing in the 24-hour race of the Nordschleife in like let's say the next 10 years is kind of my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still have like some things to learn, and but I think I'm on a good track with that. Yeah, and
Right.
I obviously hope that that's gonna come true at some point.
I'm into that. Because I was just about to ask you, like, yeah, you're doing this IRL stuff. Like, what are your goals? And then you told me, like, you want to be in
Yeah,
the NERP 24, like, doing it in real life, like, driving, competing in
yeah, that
24
is obviously
hours.
like that's the big dream, because I always loved that race. That was when my passion for racing like reignited.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first like
Thing you
races
want
that
to
I
do.
really like watched and like followed. It was like the 24-hour race of Nordschleife, because I'm also from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And partly as well on the side was DTM back then.
Oh,
In
right.
turn, like in the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really watched DTM too much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the Nordschleife is just always like
Amazing,
I
like,
just love that racetrack. It's amazing, and I'm also gonna go there this year to meet up with a couple of friends online, like especially like my team that I drive with, like usually
mm-hmm.
Olympus Esports, and
Ah,
yeah, I can't wait to meet all of them. I
at the
didn't
track.
meet them in real life yet, so can't wait to meet them at the track at such a special track for the event of the 24-hour race.
Yep. Hi,
Oh, I see.
Charlie. Charlie.
Hi.
Hi, hello. By the way, very nice to have you here today. We have Nina joining the INIT Talks. We are talking about Nina being the back-to-back winner, and also I'm asking some question about sim racing, real racing. Hi, everyone. You will manage that. I keep my finger crossed for you, Nina. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much for supporting Nina. Thank you, and I'm
Yeah,
really
thanks.
rooting for you, Nina. Like I really hope one day you will reach your goal, like racing in real life. Like
Yeah.
Nina is awesome. Yes, she is. I'm rooting for her, like in the Winter Cup and also like in the International Women's Day race. I was like, wait, Nina won the race like in oval.
Yeah,
She just won in road racing, and now she,
yeah, like he was that's my team boss. Like he's on
yeah,
the he
on the
was
radio.
my spotter. Like he was with me
Oh,
in that race. He was like the one that I was talking to while winning, so it
yep,
was
yep,
so
yep.
cool.
Yeah, wow. It's so nice to have you here, by the way, Charlie. Welcome, welcome. Happy almost weekend. Oh my god. What? It's so nice. Like, like having a spotter in your race is really important, especially in oval. Like,
Yeah.
at least for me, oval, I really need a spotter. And I have to trust my spotter. I think that's my thing, like if I have like someone new spotting me, I'll be like, you know what, you join on Discord, don't you ever get into my server, because if I have someone spotting, I cannot hear my AI spotter, something like that. And
Yeah, like there's a setting for that you can, but
oh,
yeah.
oh, there's a setting for that. Oh yes, you should tell
Yeah.
you should tell me about it after this. Like, okay,
Yeah,
how do I
we can talk
keep the
later about
AI
it.
spotter? Because I think for me, like I have to build the trust between me and the spotter, like build the connection. How, if that makes sense to you? Like I have to trust him. Like when my spotter said like, okay, go left, I will questioning him at the start, like why should I go left? Because I need to reach the level of trusting someone, because I feel like when I have like this human spotter, I'm giving my race to this spotter. Like, yeah, he's
Yeah, I think I think it's important in that case to less like view it as like your race, but in the sense of like you singular, and what like view it as your race in the sense of like plural. You know, it's like a team effort. It's yeah, it really comes together if you trust someone or not. Uh, similar to like how rally works with your co-driver who's just calling out stuff. And if your
exactly.
co-driver in rally says like, okay, flat over crest, like keep to the right, then that's exactly what you're doing. And if I'm racing ovals and my team boss on the radio tells me like, yeah, clear, move down, and I do that. I don't
Think
question it
like
because I
questioning.
fully trust them.
Right. Yeah, that's the new thing that I learned. Because yeah, since I'm getting into oval, like yeah, okay, I'm starting to learn about having a spotter and stuff. Because in road racing, I can just rely on AI, but for some race in oval, I need a human spotter for me. So
Hmm.
yeah, like building the trust to the point that you listen to the sound, you follow it right away. Like I need to reach that certain of level of trust,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I need that.
And it's maybe not always going well, but that's where you learn from, both of you.
Right, right. And if you look into the replay of a big crash, you always think like, okay, I should have gone this way. I should have do that. But at
Yeah,
that
it's
moment,
like
like you cannot
it's
think.
it's it's easy to like put like the fault on somebody else, but like maybe not immediately after when you're still like all worked up about it, but maybe a day later or something, look at it and just really look, okay, could I have done something better? Even if you might be made sorry. If
No
you might
problem.
have been even like in the right to move up and the other person was doing something wrong, but maybe you could have seen that, and maybe it wasn't like the right move from the other person, but you could have avoided the wreck there. That's
Exactly.
also something to learn, because at the end of the day, if you're right or not, if you crash out, it doesn't matter because you crashed out.
True.
So
it happens. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
already happened. Like, you already crashed. And I think for me, like, I barely put a blame on someone else if something bad happened in the race, but I focus more on what could I've done in this situation. Like, I look into the replay, I focus on, okay, this is the crash, I should have gone that way. Like, I'm focusing on what can I do better in the next race instead of like putting someone, like pointing finger on someone, like it's your fault, I'm reporting you, like that, like I'm more
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, next time I'll do better for this. Nah, you know what, it's fine. And by the way, Nina, like, we are talking about having a spotter, winning the race, and everything, right? Like, yeah, we all know that you're the winner, back to back winner. And also, like, yeah, you managed to be in the top 15 in the Formula Woman. Speaking of your dream goal, you want to be in the Nürburgring 24. Which car do you want to drive? If you got a chance driving in real life,
Um,
anything.
yeah, well, most people would probably go for like the GT3s or something,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
actually, I would love to drive the Dacia Logan. I don't know. It's like it's such a cool concept to be like in like the slowest or like one of the
Right.
slowest cars. I don't know. I just like I really enjoy like low powered cars because with cars that have like amazing horsepower and everything,
Right,
if
right.
you mess up your corner and you step on the gas on the exit, you're already like quick massively. But
True.
if you're in a slow car with like just very little,
Low power. Oh no.
it is quite yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we fine?
I think we are fine. So for a bit, it's like
Okay, on my end, the stream just started to buffer, so I wasn't sure. Um,
uh
but yeah, as I
yeah.
said, like in the fast car, if you go on throttle, you're immediately fast again. But
Mm-hmm.
in a slower car, it's really important that you keep your line smooth and effective to get all the speed like throughout the corner, so you're not slow on exit, because then this just like amplifies.
Hmm.
And
Right,
to me,
right.
that's like a special kind of challenge to just have like a slower-ish car and
Mm-hmm.
trying to preserve the speed during a corner
Mm-hmm.
instead of just like having insane amounts of power. I mean, you still
Right.
have to do the same thing, but like in slow cars, at least for like the start, that's kind of like that sounds really cool. And also, you're on the same track as the big guys, you know? So
Hmm.
how
Right.
cool must it be if you're already sending your car down there and going as fast as you can, and then there's just like GT3s just flying
Whoosh.
past you? That must be insane.
Yeah, oh, I get what you mean now. Yep, because it's quite new to me, like to listen to, like I'm doing this interview like quite some time, and then like,
Mhm.
yeah, like some people want to drive, yeah, the fast car, they want to be F1, and now I have you here and saying that, yeah, I would like to drive a slow car.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there are plenty of cool cars, you know. Also,
Of
like
course,
the
yeah,
GT4 class is amazing, especially like the team that Beitske from
yeah,
yesterday is in. Actually, like the girls only team
uh-huh,
is a team that I've like watched like all
rooting
the
over.
years and everything. It's just it's so cool to see that like a girls only team, you know, drivers are all females, all the mechanics are girls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that would be a dream as well, to be in that team and to know to like just be
Yeah,
visible for all
for,
the
yeah,
women out there, to inspire them maybe to, yes, you can do racing as a girl.
mm-hmm, yeah,
And that is obviously also something that Screen to Speed does, to really like show anyone to be like, hey, you can do sim racing as a woman. There's nothing against it. You can absolutely do it. You can race as a girl.
yep,
It's not a boys exclusive club.
mm-hmm,
And
yeah.
yeah,
I
so
mean,
I really I'm happy if I even manage one person, if I can change one person's mind in that sense.
right. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Like, I know that there are female sim racers. Like, we are not the only two or the only 20
Yeah.
girls in this world who does sim racing. But I feel like it's kind of hard to meet up with other girls, especially if you're doing official session in iRacing. You, not gonna lie, like most of the time I'm the only one, like the only
Yeah,
girl on the track. So it's kind of hard
yeah,
to find another female sim racer. Like, yeah. So I'm so
yeah,
happy to have Screen to Speed. Like, yeah, we meet a lot of wonderful girls on the track or even like in the
yeah.
race. Like,
It's a really cool community, and especially when I was doing all my like on iRacing, you have like the different license classes
yeah.
on like safety rating for all the different types of racing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So at some point, I was like, hey, it would be cool to have a license in every class. So
Mm-hmm.
I set myself that goal and also like reached it. But especially in disciplines like dirt ovals,
Mm-hmm.
it is apparently incredibly rare to have like girls in there. So I was always like the kind of
You
like
adore.
standout account in those lobbies. And I haven't done much like dirt ovals since then, to be honest. I should do that again. It was quite
I sh-
fun.
I did a lot of. There was a moment where I did a lot of dirt oval, and I don't even know. Like, I didn't. I literally just realized at the start of season 2, like, how did I get promoted to C class? Like, I barely do the dirt oval, but dirt oval is so fun. Like, you are like
Yeah, it
steering
can
to
be
the
quite
left,
fun.
like your wheel is like more to the right, like you're turning
Yeah, I
right
mean
to
it's
go
it's
left,
it's
something
kind
like
of
that.
like drifting in a sense.
Yep, that's how I
And
feel.
I also enjoy drifting a lot on Assetto Corsa as like a way of like winding down. Sometimes if like a race didn't go my way or something, I
Mm-hmm.
turn on Assetto Corsa and just like drift in there.
Drifting.
Yeah, and that's kind of my way of like just relaxing. Again, I'm like okay at drifting, but I'm not like drift pro.
Right.
I can do like 360 entries now, so like I guess I'm
Oh no, did we get disconnected again?
they can do with their cars. It's
Uh-huh.
racing is so beautiful because you have all these different types of disciplines, and
Yeah.
every discipline has its own beauty to it.
I
And
that's
if
how
it,
I
if it's
feel.
rally or drifting or drag racing or circuit racing, ovals,
Everything.
anything has something special. So that's really cool.
Yep. That's how I see. Like, yeah, in road racing you wanna go fast. That's how I feel. And then in oval, you want to survive the race. But when you talk about drifting, it's drifting is more like art instead of like going fast. It's like a total different thing.
I would I would argue that both is a type of art because um
I see.
to go fast around the track also requires your car to be very stable and
Right.
to just do it like to this like perfection. Obviously, the best example to that is Formula One
Mm-hmm.
because they are like so close to the edge and like so like perfect every single corner. And
Ah, good point.
there's also a beauty to that. It's a different
Type of
kind
beauty.
maybe
Uh-huh. Right.
because drifting is also like to the to the centimeter like next to walls all
Yep.
the time,
Yep.
so close here and so close there. So it's not all too different in that sense, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it art.
Right.
It's just a different kind of art. Like the one is maybe like classical painting and the other one is expressionism or something.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know my art too well, so I think that works
But
that way.
that's a good point because yeah, I mean, you not like you changed my mind, but you give me like a new perspective speaking about art in racing. Like, that's that's a good point, right? So,
And also, especially like if you're doing wheel-to-wheel racing, overtaking is
oh,
also a form of art, obviously.
yeah, I love watching the long battle, like battle in every corner. I think I saw that between you and Bianca. I think I
Oh
saw
yeah, we
that.
had we had a lot of those, and it
Yep.
was so much fun because
Mm-hmm.
also after a while with Bianca, I knew that I could trust her. Like she is
Oh,
also a really good driver, so I know that I can make it tight and I can like give her space, but just her
right.
space and not a centimeter more,
Uh
and
huh.
really have this very close racing. And that made for some great onboards. I still have like I think all of the replays
Uh huh.
saved.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So
Oh my god.
there are like a lot of scenes where we are like centimeters apart
Mm-hmm.
through a high-speed corner, and we both knew exactly where the other one is and how much we can like push them or
Right,
can't push them. So that
right,
was
right.
really, really fun.
That is so satisfying to watch. Like I'm the one like making and editing for the clips on screen to speed
Yeah.
account. So I was like looking into your battle. There was like a really like hard battle between you and Bianca. Well, it didn't end up well, if I'm not mistaken, as in like not like well, but the battle was so satisfying to watch. Like
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you have like incidents here and there, and
yeah,
like
of
there are
course.
absolutely no hard feelings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like I at some point, like I think one time I got spun by her, but I watched it back and I was like, hey, okay, it was a slight mistake, but I can absolutely see why you went for this gap. So like absolutely no hard feelings at all.
Right, right.
Um,
That
it was still like so much fun,
yeah.
and yeah,
And the fact that you
can't wait to do that
finally
again in like the next
build the
season when it
trust.
comes.
I know, right? Like the fact that you're building the trust between there's like a level of trust between you and Bianca to the point that you guys can like having that long battle all the way throughout the season. You know, like I really looking forward to see you like racing in the next screen to speed like I want to see, and maybe I will join, depends on the schedule of course. And I really hope that we're gonna use another GR86 because I like driving that car in iRacing. Like
Yeah, it's a really fun car.
it
Again,
is,
it's low power,
but
you
I
know,
love
and
it. You
yeah,
know.
and you have to really like get the speed throughout the corner to be fast.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yep.
yeah, and that's what I enjoy. Like,
And it's quite
anyone
forgiving.
can drive, I say anyone, but
Mm-hmm.
like driving fast in a straight line isn't all that difficult,
Mm-hmm.
but being fast throughout the corner, that's where like the beauty for me personally
Yeah.
lies.
Mm-hmm. I did a lot of drive in. I think for my road racing, mostly I did F4, GR86,
Mhm.
and Porsche Cup. Like those are three cars that I drive in road, but mostly I drive the GR86 because, yeah, again that car is not as quick as especially the Super Formula car. But I realized that when I made a mistake with that car with the GR86, I got time to like more time to react to the situation and to fix it. Like I don't know, because sometimes with a fast car, if you're too fast, you got panic, you will spun, touch the wall, something like that. But
Um, yeah, like it's um in general, Formula cars are just overall a bit harder to catch due to the nature of what the cars are.
mm-hmm, right.
But I also really, every time I drive a Formula car and every time I spin or something, I always try to catch it. And I think it's also one of these things that's really important to just learn. Like if you spin out, don't just like let go of the
Let
wheel and
go,
be like,
right.
oh, I spun and whatever. But
Mm-hmm,
try to recover it. Try to build that muscle memory of how to catch even Formula cars.
mm-hmm.
And also, very importantly, how to keep it out of a wall. Because if you're ever doing real life racing, and you're gonna end up in situations that you can't control. That's part of racing.
Right.
But in these moments, it doesn't matter. You're already losing time. So that's out the window.
Mm-hmm,
But it's important to not lose the car as well, to
right.
really not hit anything with the car.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually one thing that I was very happy about, like practicing when I did the F4 test in Zolder,
Mm-hmm.
because after like pushing the car more and more, I did get a spin into turn one of the fastest points
Yeah.
of the track,
Mm-hmm.
and I for like half a second, like going backwards at like you're
Oh.
just doing like what was it, like 160 or something, and you're just
Um,
like um suddenly you're backwards in a Formula car.
yeah, and
That was kind
oh
of
no.
scary, but then also like my brain went like, "Hey, you can catch this. You practice for this." And then like my muscle memory set in,
Mm-hmm.
and I whipped it around again, did like a beautiful 360, and just kept it on track and just continued. I didn't even stop. So like,
Right. You
yeah,
got muscle
it's
memory
really
like
helpful to practice those things.
practicing the car control is like really
Yeah.
important. I think I learned that from driving the oval car because especially I did a lot of race in the Arca and that car is like Arca in iRacing
Yeah,
what's gonna happen in the crash. I learned a lot about car control and the I reached the point like okay it's about to crash but I can catch it. I can do counter steer. I can keep this car out of the wall. So yeah, practicing the car control is really important rather than just focusing on going fast, scoring a perfect lap time. Like yeah, practice for when something bad happen, because at some
exactly.
point you will have that moment coming to your life. Like yeah, you will crash, like you will spin, and you have to catch it. Don't break the
Yeah.
car. Yes, Sophie. I mean, if we break the car in real life, I don't know how much we need to pay. Like, in simulator, if we crash, we can hit the escape button back to the garage. But yeah. And yeah, I mean, do you build your muscle memory through the sim racing? Like, you're doing a lot of sim racing, driving, and like you have that experience then when that happened in real life you have that muscle memory in your head like this is how you catch the car, this is how you catch the spin. Does the sim racing like really helps you to develop that muscle memory?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's just like a good way of knowing how the car will react or like the type of car. It's different if you have like a street car, also like if you have front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. But
Right,
in general, practicing these like yeah, how to keep a car out of the wall is definitely applicable in real life as well.
applicable in real life. Wow, that's amazing to hear. So, I mean, I drive a lot in oval. I know this car spin a lot, so I should have that muscle memory in my head right now. Like, oh my god. But the difference is like in real life you have that fear factor and you felt afraid. Like you were afraid for a split second when you were backwards, right? Like
Um,
or were you
yeah, I
just
mean,
focused on
it's it's not a sense. It wasn't a sense of like being like scared for like being hurt or something because like I always say like if I'm especially in like a Formula car with like all the straps on and everything,
right?
to me personally, that's the safest place on earth
Huh.
because like the chassis is literally made for, I don't know, going into a wall at 200 kilometers an hour.
Right, right.
Um, so I wasn't scared about like being hurt too much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was kind of just like, oh, I can't mess this up because like this is like my time to like show what I can do behind the wheel.
Right.
And crashing the car would obviously have been like the worst possible outcome.
Yep, I bet. Yeah, it doesn't give
So
you a good impression
yeah.
to
So
have
like
a
I sadly do know what breaking carbon fiber sounds like. I did
ah
crash like the front wing of our Formula student car once.
mm-hmm.
Luckily it was only the front wing and it was already damaged before I did it.
Right.
So we would have needed a new part anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
So I got away with like a blue eye kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, so
But
I don't know if that's a saying actually. If you get away with a blue eye, that's a German saying.
that's
Sometimes
a
I mix
German
these up.
saying. We should ask
Yeah,
Sharon, I
sorry.
guess. Sharon.
Yeah, it kind of means that like it's something happened, but like you didn't break anything, so
Yeah, at
it's
least
fine.
you look on the bright side. At least we didn't break anything, I
Yeah,
guess.
actually, wait.
Oh,
I'll
what's
just get something.
okay? Oh, I wonder what she gonna show us. Anyway, hello chat. Welcome to INIT Talks. I know the
I
connection is
forgot.
bad.
I forgot that I still have this.
What? The wing? What? Is that the front wing that
Yes,
you're
that is the front wing that I broke in half.
Oh
Like I think you
wow.
can see it.
That is really cool. Cause
Yeah,
I
it's
have
really
that
light.
kind of
It's
is it?
yeah, it's like actual carbon fiber.
Oh wait, I think I have that. Wait, I'm gonna show you.
So
Guys, be
I
right
have a
back,
couple.
guys. Wanna show
I
her
have a couple of
something.
like carbon fiber parts laying around from my time. So this is another flap um,
Oh wow, that
with
is really
like this
cool.
is
Here's what I wanna show you.
unidirectional carbon, and then on here is like forged carbon that we
Oh
did on that year.
wow,
So
that is
it's
really
really
cool.
cool.
you have a front wing, and I got this one from the NASCAR.
Sorry,
So
show me.
this one,
Oh, oh, that's cool.
this is from the Xfinity car. So my friend worked as a mechanic in a NASCAR team, NASCAR Xfinity team,
Uh-huh.
and then I think
The
one of
little
his car
trophies you gather.
crashed. Yeah. Okay, I give you a little piece of NASCAR. I was like, oh, thank you, but this looking really cool. I like to collect like this part of this part of the car. Like every time I see someone crash on the track, I will start like collecting this part. That is really
That's really
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Yes, Sharon,
Oh,
like, look at Nina. Like, she even still has the front wing.
yeah.
I see someone that has like a complete front bumper in his gaming room, something like that. And I was like, yo, where did you get that? I need that one too for my gaming room.
Mhm. Oh well.
Oh well, no, but that was really cool. Like, not gonna lie, I didn't expect to see that in today's INIT Talk, like in today's time. Like, I didn't expect to see a front wing.
Yeah, but like to come back to the topic,
Yeah,
like
come back to
when
the
I
topic.
when I was spinning, I was like really just like hoping not to crash it because like
Yeah.
the sound of you being in a car and being the reason why the car crashed is like a terrible feeling. Like that was really like it's absolutely like gutting because you feel like you let not only yourself down but like the whole team.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, so crashing is really like a thing to avoid at any cost.
At
So
any cost, right, right.
yeah.
Don't crash. Yes, Sophie and everyone, don't crash in real life. Like, yeah, because you have
I
the
mean,
whole
sometimes it
team
happens, but
working. Well, sometimes, yeah, but if you still can save it, you have to save
yeah,
your car.
yeah,
Yeah, because, yeah, it takes the whole team to build the car for your race weekend, something like that. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's
It's a
like,
team sport.
I just realized about that lately because I'm quite newbie here in sim racing, but at the start I feel like I can do this by myself, like I can do this by myself. It's a solo race. It's okay. You don't need a team. But the more I get into it, I realize that there's like engineering involved in this. Or you have spotter, you have mechanic, you have everyone, you have pit crew. So it's a
Yeah,
teamwork instead of like doing it solo. So it's like something that I realize lately. Like the more I get into it, I see like the whole team working together to build the car for you. So when you win as a team. When you lose, you also like
yes.
everyone take the lose together. So I think that's the beauty of racing that I just realized. I guess like we are in this together. I never broke a cool car, so I don't have a souvenir. Sharon happened. You
It's
know,
also probably good that you didn't break one because most of the time it's quite expensive.
I bet like yeah, small damage can cost you a lot of money. Like even it's well, no, I must not say that. But every kind of damage costs you money as a team.
Yeah. And motorsport is already like one of the most expensive hobbies there is, so
I realized that like yeah, I
yeah.
I check on the price. Like if I want to get karting competitively, like okay, where's the step? Where is the next one? And I look into this page on the internet, and they're giving you like the detail about what do you need to pay to get into karting competitively, and it already starts to get pricey even on the karting level. So I cannot imagine like in GT class or even in Formula. Like wow, that's a lot. So yeah, it can happen. I had a little panic moment due to my disability. I apologized to the team. When you got released from the hospital, I still have the onboard video. Not great to watch. Oh my god. If you don't mind
Yeah,
sharing
that
it with us, Yvonne, you can share, but I bet it's not a great feeling.
I mean it's Yvonne already had her talk, right?
Yeah, yeah, the first episode.
Ah, okay.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the
I wasn't
first one.
sure if it was like the first or if I was mistaken, but like yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Yvonne was the
Yeah, I
first,
mean,
second Victoria, and you're the third, the third guest
yeah.
here. Yeah, I
Yeah, and
mean,
like also, by the way, since we're at it, thanks for having me.
of
Like it's so
course,
fun. So I'm
I'm glad you're
really
having
enjoying it
fun.
here. So
I really
yeah,
enjoy
this is
having a
this is
talk
fun.
with you, like learning a lot from your experience. And like you explain it to me, like starting in front and starting from the back, it has its own challenge, which I
Yeah.
mostly start from the middle of the pack, so my gameplay is different than yours. Of course, like if you start in front, the strategy is different than when you're starting in the mid pack of the grid. And
Yeah.
you give me a vision about, okay, this is what gonna happen if you start from the back. I was like, yep, that is right. I feel like after I'm having this talk with people, this INIT talk with people, I feel like I'm 20% smarter every week. I got
Yeah, I mean, every day you should learn a little thing. That's how I try to do life.
right.
Every day learn a little thing, and that's just gonna make you better.
Yeah, I mean, one step at a time, I think. Like
Yeah,
one step
definitely.
at a time. And yeah, the speed will come, the wind will come. And yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's actually like for me, I'm also in a weird spot in sim racing currently
Mm-hmm.
where I do mostly Formula 4s
Mm-hmm.
and I'm usually like almost always I'm in top split.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I'm decent,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm usually not really like fighting for the win. So I don't remember when the last time was that I won an official race. It's been forever.
It's been
So
forever, right?
yeah, actually, like I also don't do that many officials currently.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
often do like league races or that kind of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
not really a lot of officials. But that's also one thing that I sometimes have to remind myself about is that I do it for fun. And if you lose the fun, then you also like drive bad.
True.
If you just go in there and be like, oh, I don't know,
Mm.
quote unquote, only P5 again or something,
Right.
then that's just really not going to be great for the future. Because if you think about it, if there's 20 people, then you were faster than 15 other people, which is a great achievement. But as a
Right.
racer, I feel like you often tend to like look at the people ahead. Obviously, like
Yeah.
overtake the next car and then the next and
Of
then the
course.
next,
Of
even
course.
though you already overtook 10 cars maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to like actively really cherish those moments as well. Of course, there's room for improvement, but you're already doing well if you finish fifth.
Right. So no matter where you finish, it's already a progress of you learning things here in sim racing. And also like, yeah, finish the race. I think even my friend, he's a real race car driver, and he won a race in Sonoma last year and Kota, I think, I forgot, or probably NOLA, New Orleans. So I asked him like, you working in a team, like you are the driver of a race car team, do is your boss or your team principal like expecting you to win every race? That's the question that I asked. And he told
Hmm.
me like, no, that's not how it goes. Your job as a driver is to drive and finish the race. That's your job as a driver. So I mean, it's good if you can win it, but that's not the that's not like the or how you like measure yourself in a race or measure your performance. Because yeah, as long as you finish the race, there is like always room for improvement. So yeah, try to get better next time, finish the race, try to finish better, and keep on doing it. So yeah, I guess you're right. Like yeah, even if you finish fifth among 20 people, it's a high it's a high point, I guess. Like be in the
Yeah,
top five, right?
definitely. Yeah.
The next car is the next car behind you. Right. Oh, by the way, I just realized that we almost 2 hours got into this talk, but I didn't
Yeah.
feel like it's been 2 hours, almost 2 hours, because I really
Yeah.
enjoy like having this talk with you and listening to how you passionate about this thing. Like that's the beauty of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I love
I
seeing
I
it.
always
Like,
like always feel so passionate when I get to talk about these things because
mm-hmm,
um in like real life, okay, I have like kind of my friends and everything,
right.
but it's yeah, sim racing is kind of a niche hobby at the end of the day.
True.
So to have the chance and to really like talk about this like openly and like have people in chat who are interested. So
Mm-hmm.
thanks for everyone stopping by the way.
Thank you, everyone.
It's just such a cool opportunity to really like share these moments with others and yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think we are down to the last question. Speaking about this INIT Talks, I have a very, very important question to ask for you. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, speaking about the dream team, congratulations for making to the dream team. Yay! And you'll be competing in the VCO. So we are
Yeah.
talking about the competition. Like, yeah, you're winning. You are battling with people and something like that. Okay. And now that you'll be competing in the VCO Infinity and you are in a team full of female sim racer. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I can't wait. It's gonna be probably a huge challenge. It's like the field is gonna be like very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna try my best. And as soon as like we know finally like the tracks as well, we already know the cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't wait to know about the tracks so I can really start like practicing specifically the stuff that I need to be practicing for this event.
Right.
And yeah, maybe should I maybe give like a short rundown to everyone who doesn't know about it?
Yeah, sure. Share it with us.
Okay, so it's called the VCO Infinity, um, and it's a 24-hour event with 24 races in there. So each race is about like an hour, I think like 45 minutes with like quali in between and that kind of stuff or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, it's 24 hours of racing with one race each hour of like there are 5 different cars and 5 different tracks. And then you just have the combination of those. So you have the the MX5 Cup, the IndyCar, the NASCAR Xfinity,
Mm-hmm.
the Ferrari GT3, and the Super Formula Light as cars,
Mm-hmm.
and then 5 tracks that we don't know yet.
Yep.
But yeah, then you're gonna have these cars on all of these tracks, switching every hour. So yeah,
Wow.
come and watch it. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be very like different each time you're gonna tune in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And yeah, it's gonna be quite the challenge to switch between all these cars and tracks back and forth. So every driver in the team has to drive, I think, at least 2 cars.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Good luck with
can't
that.
wait for it.
Good luck with that, Nina. And yes, Yvonne, you've got this, Nina. Yes, both of you girls, you got this. Okay, I'll be hanging on the chat like, see how you girls are doing in the track. I'm wishing you all the best. But again, don't forget to have fun, like enjoy,
Yeah.
because we'll be meeting a lot of like top team, I believe,
Yeah,
in
and
this.
it's also I don't think we're gonna be like anywhere close to the win. But that's also not really the goal here, in my opinion. Ties into like the what we just talked about, like a P5 in a 20 people, like a 20 car race. It's also a great achievement. I think it's like a very great thing to just show off that we as like a girls team like we're there,
Yeah.
and to anyone who might be watching it, it's like a great opportunity to just show off this whole community and everything,
Mm-hmm.
to show everyone like, hey, if you are a girl interested in racing, you can join this, and you can be part of this community, and you don't have to like be all alone in like a big community of like a lot of like men and boys,
Right.
but like there are other girls as well. You just have to know where to look, kind
Where
of.
to look. Right, right. I mean, yeah, we are here. Girls, we are here. So all you need to do is just join our Discord and hang out with us. And yeah, come race with us sometimes in the Screen to Speed. Because we are planning to have more event in different sims. So it's not just gonna be in iRacing or Gran Turismo. We really hope that we can cover a lot of games. So, like we can meet a lot of girls, new girls joining the community. I really hope that we will have another event in iRacing and also possibly in ACC or even Forza. Like, we want to have it like everywhere because, yeah, like we are everywhere, and it's like sometimes some girls playing in other games, and like it's our not like um not like responsibility, but we want to see you, like we want to meet all of you, doesn't matter which game you play. So yeah, if any one of you here in the chat know that you have friends or family, and yeah, she likes to play sim racing, go invite her to the screen to speed so we can meet each other, because it's a different feeling when you're battling uh with your friends. Like, yeah, okay, for example, like Nina been driving with Bianca to the point that she can trust her, like, okay, I give you space but not too much, just enough for you. But no hard
Yeah.
feeling on it, like you practice battle. So I think that's the one of the benefit of getting into a league race. I must say, like, you racing with same person, same people over and over, to the point that you're building your racecraft, you're building the trust, you learn about how to battle throughout the race. Because normally in official session, because you're racing with strangers, let's say, like someone that you don't know, you haven't met before, you have that, like you have to predict where he's about to go or something like that. Meanwhile, like when you were like having a battle with Bianca, you're like, yeah, okay, I can trust her. We've done this many times. So that's the benefit of getting into a league race, I must say. And by the way, guys, Sharon, Yvonne, we will run a real quick Q&A. So if Yvonne, Sharon, and Charlie, everyone in the chat have a question for Nina, feel free to shoot it in the chat. We are waiting. So yeah, if you have question, don't forget to shoot it. Don't be shy. Like, just type it in the chat, and we would love to answer any kind of question related to sim racing and motorsports. So I'm gonna start first, Dan. I'm gonna start first for
Sure.
this Q&A.
If you have questions,
Of
sure.
course, I have a lot of questions for you actually.
Okay.
So
I'm here.
I'm here. So if speaking about your goal, you said that you wanna be in the Nordschleife 24, the NERP 24. That's your goal. That realistically you think you can achieve in 10 years. And what's the next step after that? Like, okay, let's say you make it happen. You get into the 24 hours of NERP, and
Yeah.
have
So,
you think about your next plan after that one?
like after that race, or like what are my
After,
steps to that race?
yeah, the next step after
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So, obviously, what's gonna be like in the background all the time is practicing on the sim, because it is a very long track and a very difficult track. And that's also the beauty of it. But that also means that you need to prepare a lot. So,
Yes.
that's always going to be running in the background, always practicing with different cars and everything on there.
Right.
But I have taken like the first couple of steps with, for example, my race license,
Yep.
So, to actually be able to race in the 24-hour race there, you need like a special permit for the track, because the track is so long and difficult that everyone who wants to race there needs to do like certain races to really familiarize them with the track.
Right. Right.
The driving standards are,
Really
at
high.
like as high as possible,
Right.
because it is such a narrow and difficult track.
True.
So you need like the Nordschleifen permit, is what it's called, kind of like your little driver's license for that track.
Oh yeah. It's a special
And
license for that track, I believe. Like a
yes, yeah,
special note.
exactly. It
Yeah.
like usually you just have your race license, and then you can like, for me it's like a national race license, so I can do like races that are within one country, for example, like a German race series that only races in Germany, I can race that.
Raise that. Yep.
Um, but since Nordschleife is so difficult, a couple of years ago they started having like a special permit for like especially like the longer races, like the NLS and the 24-hour race.
Right.
So for that I need to do like
A lot
I would
of.
have to read up because they also changed it over the last year or two
Mm-hmm.
a little. Um, so you have to do like a certain amount of laps. You have to do like I think at least 2 races on there within the last 2 years to be allowed
Ah,
on there.
right.
And so I would need to find a way to to just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also ideally I would already have like a reasonable shot at like a race like a driving position in some car for the
Mm-hmm.
24-hour race at
Right.
that point, because then it's like this goal that I can work towards. And yeah,
I.
obviously, like the financial aspect is also a thing. So
Yep.
either you're gonna work with like I don't like the word sponsors, but like like some companies or individuals that partner with you in some way
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know, help you with travel or equipment or all that
Equipment.
stuff. Speaking of equipment, I would need to buy my own like race suit probably and like my helmet and all that
Helmets
stuff. I
and the
already
neck
looked at
protector.
things. I didn't like decide on something yet because I'm just not entirely like about to race yet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
Right.
it still has like a little bit of time, but it's also something that can be just like bought reasonably quickly, and in the
Mm-hmm.
worst time you can usually like borrow it from somewhere. So that's not like the biggest concern, but it's something that you also have to
Prepare.
remind yourself to buy. So like I
Right.
spec'd that as well. So like just like all the equipment and everything would be another like 2 grand
Mm-hmm. At
around.
least, yeah. True.
And yeah, and that's like sort of like not really like getting all the expensive stuff. So that's really like a moderate price point.
Right.
And yeah, there are a lot of regulations with this. So, depending on what I'm gonna do,
Do.
like what types of races,
Right.
they can already tie into like the requirements for the permit. Then obviously like getting the permit would be a thing, and then
Yeah.
finding a team to race with in the
True.
24-hour series.
Right. So that race, that event is somewhat like your long-term goal, let's say. And what about in sim racing? This is the question from Yvonne, because Yvonne asking like, what do you want to achieve? What would you like to achieve more in sim racing and in real life? I guess we talk about the real life part. So
Yeah.
what about the sim racing? Like, what do you want to
Um,
achieve at least this year, for example?
well, that's a good question. Um,
That's a
in
good
sim
question.
racing, I guess like the next big thing that's on the horizon is definitely the VCO Infinity. I want to do like my best there, the best that's possible. And I guess also like the seasonal cups that are coming up is also a goal kind of that I would love to take part in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah. And apart from that, I kind of just like I want to drive officials a bit more often because, as I said, I really don't do a lot of officials currently,
Right.
and I kind of want to get back into that habit and do other stuff apart from like league races to also just like get more like my I rating up a little. I don't care too much about it, but always like looking at it, I feel like it could be
Better.
definitely higher if I just put some more time in it.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely a goal. I also have like my A licenses on every class, as I said,
Uh-huh.
and it would technically be nice to also have like the A license and but also the rating at 4.99.
Uh-huh.
So that would also be a fun goal.
A fun goal. So
Yeah,
doing more officials and doing your best in Infinity. So I really hope that everything will goes well in the Infinity. Like, yeah, I
yeah,
hope like we will finish all the race, like those 24 race, like
yeah,
each
definitely.
race.
I'm not giving up any of my races. Like
That's a good
it doesn't
mentality.
matter how often I don't know I have some problem with the car or something.
Uh-huh.
I will finish every race that I'm part of, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good mentality. I
Mhm.
mean, in order to win the race, first you have to finish the race, right? So,
Yeah, to finish first, you have to finish first. I guess
yeah,
it's the thing, something like
to
that.
finish first, you have to Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, you have to finish. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
how can
wait,
you
to finish
win it?
first you have to finish
Yeah,
that
to
way
finish
around.
first you have to finish, right? I got
Oh, got
confused.
it.
And here's the question
Uh,
from Sharon. So, which sim would you like to drive if iRacing didn't exist? That's also a good question.
yeah, it is a good question. Um, it probably depends on the type of driving again. So for drifting, I love Assetto Corsa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't tried too many of like all the different stuff, at least not in detail. But for GT3 racing, I heard that ACC, so Assetto Corsa Competizione,
Mm-hmm.
is quite good. I did play it for a couple of hours, but not to the extent that I really have an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rensport was still quite a top, but I don't know if you can get in that easily. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah.
What else is there? R
Automotive.
Factor. I haven't really tried R Factor,
Right.
so I would definitely pick something that has nice physics over graphics. Uh,
Physics
Same
over
as
graphics.
iRacing. iRacing arguably doesn't have the best graphics, but
Yeah.
the physics are just really, really good. And especially if you see like a huge field of cars going over a bumpy track, I always think on iRacing, the way that the cars go over bumps and like the whole way that the chassis moves and everything, it's just yeah, that's just it looks real. And on
Right.
not all the other games, but on some of the other games, it still looks a bit like a game. Uh,
I get what you mean.
Especially
Right.
with like iRacing's new rain system,
Mm-hmm.
like the way that they put in the rain is just amazing. It's not just like a slippery surface or something, but it's actually like calculating where the puddles are and like all of that stuff and redistributing the water if it gets thrown out by the cars. It's like a whole weather system, not just rain. And that's also like a really, really beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we're going to see more of that in the future, also in other games.
I hope
So,
so. Yeah.
yeah.
I think they kind of nail it, making the rain release. Like, yeah, it takes time for them to develop the rain, I guess, the rain system, the weather forecast, and everything. But I guess it turned out pretty well. Like,
Yeah.
based from what I heard from people who drive in the rain, like, yeah, it's good. Like, yeah, it's fun. Like,
Mhm.
good fun or bad fun? Like, I was like, okay, fun.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, but I believe, I not like I believe, but I assume that they have like the best system for the rain so far among all the sim, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this the question from your boss, from the boss. So, which non-German race do you want to see, and which one would you like to race in real life?
Non-German.
Yes.
Um, okay, so like to see or like to watch in real life is definitely NASCAR. I want to see like a race like I don't know, something like Talladega, for example.
Right.
That must be insane to have like a super speedway with all these like NASCARs going there like as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that must be insane. I really want to see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, another
Which
one
one do
who
you wanna race
yeah,
in real life?
I guess it's also a non-German race.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's also tricky. I feel like one track that I really love on iRacing is Road Atlanta. So
Oh.
racing pretty much any like if I can choose a car, I would probably want to drive like a prototype, like an LMP2 or LMP3 or something.
Right, the
Road Atlanta.
prototype.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yep.
Yeah, like
I
yeah.
love the sound of the prototype, but I haven't driven it a lot in the sim, but the sound is
Mhm.
so amazing, like really amazing.
Yeah, especially in real life. I've seen them in real life at the Hockenheimring.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they sound amazing. I would love to drive them.
You
Like the
would love.
LMP3s I saw. So,
Yeah, you would love to drive it in real life one day. I hope you'll get a chance to drive it in real life. Like maybe I will see you
yeah.
in some American series. Like I don't know.
I mean, of course, if it
If you get a
would be an
chance,
option, I'd love to.
you will
Um,
take it. Like, yeah, I'm
yeah,
going to
but with
America
that, but like
today.
with pretty much any series, um, I just love racing, and it doesn't matter too much what types of cars it is, as long as it has four wheels and a roll cage. I love it. It's
Same
like,
like bicycle. Like,
uh,
yeah, as long as it has
yeah.
four
Also,
wheels, engine.
actually thinking about it, I'd also love to do rally. Like, I feel like that could also be like plenty of fun.
Huh,
I
interesting.
don't know how well I would do.
Right.
I think I would be all right, but like, yeah, like I'm probably not going to be fast. I think I'm faster on like a circuit than on rally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah,
That's the thing
it's
that we
that
you
must be
will try
crazy.
to try at some point. If you get a chance to do some rally, you will take it. Like 10 out of
Yeah,
10.
probably.
Hmm. Interesting. I would love to see you. Like, it will be a big surprise if I see you and doing some rally at some point. Like, posting a picture on Instagram. Yeah, I'll be doing rally. I will be like, okay, now what? Now what? She's gonna do
Yeah,
rally. Like, what? It will be like super
yeah. There,
super cool.
as I said earlier, like every single discipline has its own type of like art,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love racing. So anything has like its beauty to it. I would also love to try oval racing at some point,
Mm-hmm.
even though that must be like quite scary going that fast at like the edge
Yeah.
of grip.
Uh-huh.
But
Especially with the car around you, like everybody like very close.
yeah, yeah,
It's gonna
I
be
don't know.
fun. Like,
I just yeah, I imagine that must also be so much fun. Ovals
yeah,
in general.
that's how I feel like when I see when I went to my first NASCAR race in Las Vegas for the first
Yeah.
screen to speed back then. I think that's the moment where I'm in love with NASCAR because everybody goes so fast and they are very close to each other, and like you just hear the sound go and I think
Yeah.
that's the reason why
And
I love
also like feeling
NASCAR.
the air that the cars like push around must be crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Travi race that
Travi
Sharon
race.
just like said in chat. It's like
Travi.
a
What's that?
the like the East German car from
Oh,
before the unification. That was like the staple of that.
Travi
And
race. Huh. I
yeah,
just heard about that.
they are like cute little cars, but like probably not the best cars, but like it's like yeah, you can race those. Sure.
It's a cute
Sounds
car.
like plenty of fun.
It's a cute car. It's like no, it's not a Mini Cooper.
Did you just Google it?
Yeah, I just Google it now.
Yeah.
It's a cute little car, and I bet it's gonna be like so much fun. Like, it can
Uh-huh.
be fun driving this car.
Disposable cars.
Disposable cars. It's a disposable cars. I
Ah,
just know about this, by the way, Sharon. Thank you for mentioning that. Now that I Google it, and I am learning something new today. Oh my god. Nina, by the way, I think we have to end the stream and the talks
yeah.
because it's already 2 hours more. I mean, I would love
Yeah,
to have more chat. Maybe we can have some, I don't know, some fun session together. So, like
yeah,
maybe we
sure.
can drive and have a chat and, like we can share
Yeah,
some
we can
things.
definitely drive together at some point.
Yep.
That sounds fun. Let's do
Please,
that.
please, please, please. So the plan is once I get my sim setup ready, I'll be pretty much ready to hit the track, hit iRacing. So I've sent you a friend request on iRacing. So like maybe like we can do some drive together. Like I can tell you like, oh yeah, we are making this lobby, so come join, come drive with us,
Yeah, sure.
and maybe um that's the point. Super Becca, maybe we will have INIT Talks, but this time it's not like having this kind of interview, but having this host and the guest driving on the track. How about that? I mean, it can be
I
a
think
great
I'll
idea,
struggle with like speaking coherent sentences then though.
right? Otherwise, I don't know, maybe we can do some drifting and stuff. Like, you know
Oh,
what?
sure.
Once my sim setup ready, I can do a lot of different type of racing. Like I made a promise to myself. So yeah, it's been like months for me waiting for my sim setup to be done. So I made a promise
Yeah.
to myself, like, you know what? Once I get my sim setup ready, I will push myself to the limit, as in like I'm chasing for the win, because it feels sad not having a sim setup when this is what you like to do,
Yeah.
like this is
I
your hobby.
understand that. I also didn't have it for like a period in my life.
Yeah, like
So yeah.
don't take away something that I like. That
Yeah.
feeling like I just want to drive at this point.
Yeah. Second episode with Nina when, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, second, maybe we will have more episode with Nina. We can have a talk. Because, for example, today we are talking about Nina's journey in sim racing, real racing, and also her plan and stuff. Maybe next time we can start talking about something more technical, speaking about car setup, everything, strategy in the race. That will be great. And yeah,
Yeah.
I really hope that you guys will tune in on the next INIT Talks, probably for the second episode of Nina coming in soon. Coming in
Yeah.
soon.
Thanks for everyone who's watching. It was a blast. I had plenty of fun.
Thank you so much, by the way, Nina, for your time to be
Mhm.
here in the INIT Talks, and I finally got a chance to have a chat with you, like talking with you, because
Yeah.
yeah, I adore
Thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much. Of course, it's my pleasure, our pleasure actually, like me and the whole INIT team, not just me.
Mhm.
I'm super super happy. Guys, don't forget to give a follow for Nina. Nina, could you share your social media with the chat?
Yeah, sure. I'll put in my Insta, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So Nina is
so
on Instagram, and you have Twitter or not? Just the Instagram.
uh, just Instagram,
Right. So don't
like
forget,
this.
guys, to give a follow to Nina Hahn,
Does
aka
it does it work
the
like this if I put it down? Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it works. It's
Okay.
okay. So don't forget to follow Nina on Instagram, and also follow us at INIT Esports and Screen to Speed to stay updated with our upcoming event, upcoming activities, competition, and everything. And also don't forget to follow Nina on Instagram to see more sim racing and IRL content. Because yeah, she posts some content about real racing, and that is really cool. So if you wanna see, don't forget to hang out in downforce girl. And yes, by the way, thank you so much everyone for watching, for tuning in, for hanging in the stream. It's so nice to have you here today, Nina. And yeah, I really hope to see you or have you in the next INIT Talks. And guys, for next week we'll be back with the new guests for the fourth episode of INIT Talks. So we are on episode 4 next week, and today we are on episode 3. Super happy! And yes, so next week we will have new guests joining. So yeah, don't forget to tune in next week, same time, 9 p.m. CST. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, bye. Take care, guys. Take care. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.